Hello, 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 hello. All right. Gotta set a nice little vibe over here before I destroy it. But then I have to build the vibe back up. Hello, everybody. It's great to have you with me for this final installment of our weekly broadcast schedule. It was a short one because of Labre Day, and now it's Friday. It is September 10th, 2021. Gonna have a great show for you tonight. We have a wonderful guest. I have been waiting, first dreaming, and now waiting, only minutes away, of speaking with Dr. Albert Taylor, who I first heard on Art Bell's show, and he is one of the best guys to speak with about out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming, and more. I want to talk to him about near-death experiences, everything, a little bit about his background too. He's an engineer, scientist, with years spent in the Air Force and aeronautics. I believe he was working on the International Space Station for a while. But tonight we're going to be getting into an introduction on a life filled with paranormal and supernatural experiences. He's an author, best known for his book Soul Traveler, which I'll put on screen several times for you guys. But it's going to be great. I want to be able to sprinkle in, I know how we're going to be able to go into it. We will sprinkle in some of the dreams that you in the audience have submitted to the show that we weren't able to get around to last night because yesterday was so much bigger of a news day than we thought it would be, that it took up so much we weren't actually able to get around to many of it. But I'm not going to let all of those go to waste. We can't read through all of them. But those threads are not about getting everybody read into it anyway. It's about, there's a lot more people that go to read those threads, those show threads, and to interact with others there than they ever do post. So it's really just a great way for the audience to observe the audience, learn about audience members, read cool stories, things that make you think. So always remember, what makes it to the show is usually just the tip of the iceberg, just because of the volume of people that are interacting with the production staff over here and the limited time that we have during the actual 2-hour broadcast. So please go and have fun on those threads on the official Quite Frankly forum on Reddit. You can get that on quitefrankly.tv on the forum tab up top. What you can also get on quitefrankly.tv is not only the live show every night on 7 o'clock that is nestled beautifully right there as the centerpiece of the entire site, but after the show concludes tonight, we have Friday night programming. Quite Frankly TV, the network kicks back into gear for its Friday night extravaganza, end of the week. So it should be good, some feel-good stuff, some interesting stuff, this and that, that and this. And I will see what I will be able to dial up tomorrow night, Saturday night, for the late night. I don't know what I will be able to do, but if I do go live, you will be able to get a notification on several platforms if I do go live. And what I'm thinking is, because tomorrow is 9/11, I will, among other things, play at least Dr. Judy Wood. Dr. Judy Wood. Everybody will learn what dustification is tomorrow night, if I have anything to do with it, and I hope that I do. But it is good thing. Oh, you know, the other thing happened to me. I got a text message from my niece, Jasmine texted me, said, "Hey, Uncle Frank," said, "I was wondering if I could, she has a humanities, class that she's in, and she was told that she needs to interview people in her life, or somebody in her life, about the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and wondering if she wanted to interview me." Oh no, on your perspective and memories from that day, and that I need to be comfortable with being recorded, because she has to record the thing. So I said, "Oh, absolutely." Things like how it affected the world, how it affected the U.S. I went, "Oh." And I told her mother, I said, I don't know. Are you ready to get a call from her guidance counselor? Are you ready to get a call from her guidance counselor? Because I can't wait for that. I'm not going to go too crazy. Not going to go too crazy, but she needs to have the goods. She needs to have the goods, and we got to be protective of these young minds. All right, because God knows what her humanities teachers is going to try to turn this into. But that's what we got going on tonight. Great stuff. And we have a wonderful episode of Dark to Light that was recorded this morning. Me and Tracy. You can find that on radioinfluence.com. And, it's Friday night. And, Friday night, I try to keep that as an open sponsorship kind of a night where I just like to say thank you to certain people. I love down yescacao.com. Justin and Zoe and their wonderful chocolate creations at Yes Cacao, my good friend Christian and everybody at Nordic Coffee Company at riseandgrind.us. But tonight, I want to say a thank you to my friends Paul and Steve and their lovely wives who I met at the Dark to Light extravaganza, which was going on parallel to our vacation in Myrtle Beach. I got to meet members of this audience and everything, and they wrote a book. Okay, here it is. They wrote a book called Drinking with Patriots. Craft cocktails as easy as 3, 2, 1. And let me tell you something. It is great book. It's well put together. I love the binding. I love the smell of it. And on the inside are some wonderful mixtures. I'll tell you what I had when I was over there at the house. Where the hell is it? I bookmarked it. Because I remember, I think it was Gold Rush or something like that. Here it is. There you go. Not a Game, Gold Rush. 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce lemon juice, 1 ounce honey syrup. And it has all these patriotic internet references, red pill references to all of their wonderful recipes. There's room for notes. There's the rating systems. You can rate it. You can talk about who you drank it with the first time you tasted it. I think this is not only are they great patriots, and you can find this at drinkingpatriots.com, drinkingpatriots.com, but I know everybody's going to start thinking about stocking stuffers and Christmas gifts. There you go. I want to say thank you to them. And I'll try to mix more things into my Fridays shout-outs as well. All right, let's get into the grab bag. Let's do it. First one up is from Zero Hedge, written by Paul Joseph Watson. This was brought up on the show, I think, last night or the night before. And it is true. No? What the hell's going on here? There we go. The official National Archives website has added a trigger warning to the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights, which cautions that documents contain harmful language. The National Archives have now put a disclaimer on their website that our historical documents may include harmful language, tweeted Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. They even slapped this warning on the Constitution. We tried to tell you the left wanted to get rid of it. Oh, it's 100% true. They put it on the Declaration of Independence as well. And I don't even know what, they don't even go into what exactly. But we know that the whole thing is targeted for destruction. And if these psychopaths are even trying to make the dream visions of Edgar Cayce more politically correct, and burying vials of COVID vaccines in Civil War time capsules, are you really surprised that they're targeting the founding documents like this? You think that the founding documents would be spared? They hate the founding documents. They are hateful, tyrannical psychopaths that cannot be reasoned with. There's nothing else to say about it. So that is true. It was not a rumor. And we have more from CNN. Dr. Homunculus is back. That's right, Leanna Wen, the homunculus with one eye on either side of her skull. Someone really screwed up in the lab when they were creating her. She's back on CNN. She was probably playing with herself in the shower while Joe Biden did everything but announce that he was going to be sending Americans back to internment camps like FDR. She was probably really getting off to it when he was doing his little LARP yesterday. I want you to listen to what she says here. She's on with these, once again, CNN hosts with their blank Botox stares that have absolutely no emotion when this woman goes on to say the most egregious and outrageous things I can't hear. I'll let you listen to the last half of this. Here you go.
Who have young kids and want to protect them, maybe it'll help to encourage those people to start traveling again. But there's an even bigger reason too, which is I think we really need to make it clear that she's
talking about mandates, and she's talking about how Joe Biden was great for taking away the carrot and now just replacing it with a stick and whipping people into submission. Well, here's what she wants to make clear.
Make it clear that there are privileges associated with being an American, that if you wish to have these privileges, you need to get vaccinated. Travel and having the right to travel interstate, it's not a constitutional right as far as I know.
Well, don't be born in China and raised by commies and come over here and just and be raised by the university system and turned into a fucking dimwit. And you will know that the freedom of travel is inherent in our rights. Absolutely. Absolutely. You terror of a woman.
To board a plane. And so saying that if you want to stay unvaccinated, that's your choice. But if you want to travel, you better go get that vaccine.
Okay, well, and there you go. And there's the Botox face, 1,000 mile stares of these ridiculous CNN sock puppet dangly bastards. I'll say it one more time. I said it today on several places. But until somebody out there can do the impossible and produce a study that shows how unvaccinated people are infecting vaccinated people more than vaccinated people infect themselves, all of this is Trojan horse bullshit. Bullshit. It's very important to prove that. If you're going to continue to say that anybody who doesn't go out there and take a shot that only benefits the receiver needs to be turned into some kind of a whipping boy, a scapegoat for whatever the hell it is your drive really is all about. You're going to have to prove that, and there's no way to prove it because you've already admitted that vaccinated people are shedding the virus themselves. So there's no way to say who broke through what and where. But this is what we're living with, and that's that. That's news from white liberals. Love that. They just love that. The dumb white liberals, they love this. They love getting dominated. They love hearing that. They love it. There's something sexual and humbling about the whole thing for them too, I believe. But this is how everyone else who still has any common sense left has reacted to Joe Biden's LARP. This was shared by Ian Miles Chung. Listen to this.
Oh, talking about my patience is wearing thin. What the fuck you talking to? As long as your patience don't get as thin as that hairline, I think we'll be all right. I am not your child. And I'm sure enough ain't your bitch. You talking about your patience is wearing thin. These people have law. They acting like they, you know what I'm saying? Like they paying your bills and dicking you down. You got to watch. I saw that little clip. I said, "Oh, he's crazy."
Oh yeah.
He really think I'm his hoe. My patience is wearing thin. I need you to get out on that boulevard and bring me my money. You ain't my pimp, nigga. What the hell is wrong with these people? He really said that shit out of his mouth. But our patience is wearing thin. You bald head. See, I'm trying. I thank God. See, that's Danny calling me right now, trying to save my mouth.
Oh God, I love her. And that's what everybody with two brain cells left to rub together thinks. Everybody else is watching CNN with the dead faces, letting Leanna Wen dick them down mentally. All right, it's 7:10. Let's just get started because I want to go through more of these dreams, as many of these dreams as I can before we bring on Albert Taylor. I hope I didn't just scare him away. Everybody, give this episode a thumbs up. Share it far and wide. Let's enjoy a Friday together. I'll be answering those super chats throughout the show. Well, actually, on the other side of the show, on the other side of the interview. And we'll go a little bit longer than a half hour because this is a really interesting topic. I have so many questions, and I can't wait to see where this all goes because I know that Dr. Albert Taylor is a guy who is he talks about this effortlessly and is extremely interesting. So we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You tune in at your own enjoyment because it is the best show since the beginning of time. It is technological advancements and a more sophisticated approach. But like every great awakening that has preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is a friend and truth is essential. You are now entering, quite frankly. Now take off your pants. And jacket.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's ride!
A little Benny Goodman, a little moon glow. There's nothing more chill than thinking about the moon glow. So welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday night. We got here, did we? Didn't we? I hope you all had a great day. I hope everybody in your life is doing well. And tonight we're gonna do something a little bit off the cuff, which I love doing on Friday nights. No better time for it. In fact, I think we got to start finding other nights than Friday to do it, because who the hell needs to dissect this every night, you know? So, since I wasn't able to do much of this last night, and it is relevant for tonight's show, I want to go into the dream thread that we had yesterday. I wanted to know, has the world outside been influencing your dreams in any way, or have they been more vivid or prophetic or startling than recently or any other time that you can remember? I've been getting a lot of stuff. Let's listen to some of these. K-Pop Colorado says, yes, I'm not someone who remembers my dreams, so if I do, then I'm trying to tell myself something. I was thinking about your dream with the skunks and drones, Franks, and it's clear that you are really, you are trying really hard to wake yourself up out of this matrix. I think we're ready to wake up now. Well, I'm sure that there are many things that have not been revealed yet that is just going to be unbelievable. You know, you think you know, even after 15 years or so of studying it or more. Many of you spent a lot more than that studying this stuff and reading and all that. I mean, even before I found things that got me kicked off was like 9/11 truth. And even though so many things are still inconclusive, the fact that the questions were being asked and there was no answers that were adequate in many respects was something that I was just like, oh, it's more so about asking the question and wondering why certain questions are not allowed to be asked. That's really what it's all about. And then you just start finding everything. Now, before that, I mean, I remember in 2001, I was only a junior in high school, and I wasn't looking into any of this stuff, but we were still very into mythology. We were still very into conspiracy. I as far back as that and even farther, I gobbled up everything that was on television about the Merovingian kings, about Christian mythology, like the 3 Days of Darkness and all that. So we were getting ready for the 3 Days of Darkness. All right. When everybody started talking about the Mayan calendar in 2012, December 21st, we're like, oh shit, get your candles ready. Hounds of hell are about to be loosed onto the earth. You know, so I remember after 9/11, after September 11th, We didn't know what the hell we were doing, but the first thing we wanted to do was try to find some deeper meaning to things. Me and my friend Steve, we went to the library and we got everything we could on Nostradamus, Nosferatu, Nostradamus, Quasimodo, and we were just looking through it. What is in this? Is there anything in Nostradamus's writings that could tell us about this? So there was always that. There's got to be something more. Let's go on some kind of an Indiana Jones adventure. So my mind is always ready to be blown with something else. It has to pass certain sniff tests, but I'm always ready for something new because there's so many layers to this onion. I do not think that anybody could figure it out in 15 years or even 30 years. So who the hell knows? As far as waking up from the Matrix, I think the Matrix is going to collapse all around us. Ginger Ale Brit says, a few nights ago, I dreamt I was in a car speaking with some people in the back seat, and then I suddenly realized their mouths were packed with dirt. That's weird. I also saw a cloaked figure in my dream last night, and prior to that, I saw the cloaked figure a few months ago. And then about 10 years ago, I saw the cloaked figure right in front of me in a waking dream. Not sure what it represents, but it never has had a face. We have one over here. Kelly says, I've been having very vivid dreams lately of translucent spiders. 3 of those scary dreams lately. Very vivid. This was a dream also. This was sent in. Who sent this in? I didn't take the name. A Trump dream someone had back in May. Said never had a dream with him in it. He was also standing in something like an old bunker or a missile silo, the kind that were underground and have a big double metal doors on a ramp to the outside. It was all dark and no decoration, just a cement bunker. He was standing in front of the doors, about to walk outside, but before he did, he stopped to look at a crowd of people that were behind red velvet ropes, all trying to talk to him and get him to answer questions. Somebody was shouting more loudly than the rest, asking about the vaccine. He had been looking at them all overwhelmed, but when this question was asked, he responded to it, irritated, saying, listen, it is going to target the people who haven't had it. And then the doors opened, he turned around and began to walk into the light outside. I had been standing for some reason on the same side of the ropes as him, but he didn't see me there. I was with a group of people also, but they never saw any of them, never saw who any of them were or anything that they had to say. Then he turned around to begin to walk out. I started to shout at him, what do you mean? What do you mean about the vaccine? What is going to target people? He stopped and turned around, making eye contact. He frowned and shook his head. No. I have no idea what to make of it. Here's another one from Jennifer. Wednesday night, I dreamt a woman was reading my cards using normal playing cards. She turned over 3 kings and said 1 king is not listening. I woke myself up immediately and was asking myself, who are the 3 kings? 1 king is not listening. That is weird. That's fucking weird. Let's see what else we have. 7:19. We're making good time. Dr. Cokes says, I indeed have been experiencing intense vivid dreams last few weeks. Below are 2 scenes and moments that came to mind. It was a dream with a slight influence of current events. Picture Operation Pineapple Express, these ex-military going into Afghanistan in a race against the clock to try to get out American citizens. My dream was about going in on an island and extracting people off of it with a ferry because the island was being taken over by someone evil, apparently. The people in question were my own friends and family. Imagine the stress I had not wanting to mess that up. The scene I remember was that the last group was brought to be loaded on the ferry, which meant that we, the rescuers, would jump on and exit with them. But when it was time to join them, the ferry already left, so we had to swim somehow to try catch up with the baddies. Catch up while the baddies were shooting at us in the water. Oh, that sucks. Swimming after a ferry that left you behind? They said, I've also had joyful dreams, though, don't worry, but these stuck with me. Let's see here. This one's bad. This one's from Mike the Psychic. This one's bad. I'm sorry, everybody. This one's bad. Says, I didn't want to mention this, but maybe I should. For the first time in my life, I had a dream remotely like this morning. Wounded U.S. soldiers and civilians lying on the ground being hacked to death with axes while still alive by leftist soldiers. That's fucked. Yeah. So, here's another one from Nice Sky 5508. Had a dream about 2 weeks ago. A man with a gun was walking me down the street. Behind us were 12 to 15 men with machine guns dressed in civilian clothes. I was asking the man who was walking beside me questions, trying to figure out his ideology. The men behind us were knocking on doors and sometimes kicking them in. I saw my neighbor peeking through her window and motioned her to hide. There were people on the next block doing the same thing. I think you should talk to Mike the Psychic. Nashins says, I have had 3 identical dreams in the last 3 months. It's almost 6 a.m. I'm walking down the hall. The electricity shuts off. I see a burst of freakishly green, bright light, which strikes me as odd because there was no windows in the hall. I think, oh, I'm going to heaven. And while I feel the blast, I wake up. Each time exactly the same. Bright green light, huh? Man, I wish I could play typo negative on this show. I would play creepy green light right now. There's got to be more. There's so much more. There's got to be more to all of this. Now, I told you about my dreams. And I've had, I don't know, this has been a weird week, just personally, too. I've some things going on with some projects I'm working on and things like that. And I don't know. I keep thinking about the skunk dream because I've gotten quite a bit. I've had my buddy Mike. I've had 2 other people, and maybe a few more send me things about skunks. Maybe I'll have some thoughts about that afterwards. But I don't know. Here's the thing with the whole thing. I'm thinking about where we are right now and what's going on, and I'm sure it's already been mentioned, but I had a caller suggest last night that maybe the skunk means... In fact, hold on. I have one thing that I have here. One more thing from Starlet had written in. This is not a dream of her own, but almost like that first one about the Matrix. Starlet wrote in and says, I'm sure it's already here to be spoken about, but when you have been talking about your dreams, this came to mind. And in the last days, she's quoting scripture now, in the last days God declares that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. Acts 2:17. Now, I'm not calling you old, Starlet said, but I'm saying I think that you are being given some visions. It's telling, and it's important. And that's why I wanted to know what everybody else's were. And, I started thinking about the skunk thing and what it may mean and what it may not mean. The person last night said that the skunk means I'm pushing people away. But for what I've been able to read, that there's a little bit more of a duality there. That, maybe perhaps I am the skunk. Maybe we all are the skunk. Maybe that this is just a skunk nation at this point where we are repelling and attracting each other and things at the same time. The skunk does have a playful demeanor. It just hops along all the way and, has a very vibrant family life. It seriously is. And they are pretty cute. The problem is that there is a fear about them that is associated with them because of the whole idea of don't make the wrong move, you're going to be sprayed by them. And I believe that duality has never been more pronounced in all of us right now. And all the while, there's this Armageddon-like end-of-time scenario that is kind of playing out in the background, and we don't know where the hell it's going to go, but we do know that the people at the helm of this, whatever the hell it is, are absolutely psychopathic, and they have no regard for human life or for anything like that. And I keep thinking about that Christmas dream that I had. That last dream from vacation. It was like that last call at a bar with all of your friends all there. And only thing is that, you say, well, it's kind of morbid that you knew that the world was going to be ending in some way. It could have been nuclear. It could have been an asteroid. It could have been anything. But everybody's instinct was to have a joyous Christmas celebration. And they put up their lights, and they got together, and they were happy. they were at peace. And it kind of felt like being at that bar, a bar or somewhere with all of your friends. It's last call, and you know that the night is special when you're in it. You know that the night is special when you're in it, and you because you're conscious of it, you soak up everything. Because you know how many times there are just those nights, and there are those weeks and months and years that you're not really conscious that you are in the good old days. You know, other times you know that you're in it, and you're just like, this is just amazing. I just want to be here forever. And that's really what it was like. So where does it all go? How much does it mean? I don't know, but hopefully our guest does tonight. Things like that, because it's not just about dreams. I want to know what the difference, how do you know if you're dreaming, if you're the lucid dreaming, and of course, out-of-body experiences. If you can take yourself on a trip around the planet during a lucid dream, how do you know if you're actually out of your body? It could just be a really vibrant imagination taking you for a ride. But our guest tonight, Albert Taylor of from alberttaylor.com, he is going to be on with us in just a moment. And here's what we can say about Dr. Albert Taylor. He founded the Paranormal Research Investigations, and he's the director of operations there at Paranormal Research Investigations, specializing in and research of ghosts, poltergeists, spirits, apparitions, and hauntings, UFO sightings, encounters, and alien abductions, paranormal abilities, psychic functioning, and psychic manifestations, mysterious animals, strange beings, and sacred sites, the mind-body connection, human performance, and unlimited potential, consciousness exploration, and life after death. This is a gold mine of, quite frankly, if you know what I mean, gold mine. A quite frankly gold mine. And I can't wait to have him on in just a moment. I cannot wait to have him back already. So let's do that right now. Learn a little bit about Albert Taylor and go on a journey together. Here we go. And joining us live right now for the first time, Dr. Albert Taylor. Welcome to the show, Albert.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you on. It really, really is. I have been a fan of your work since I heard you interviewed on Art Bell's show, and when I started feeling all these questions pop up, I remembered who was it that I had heard. When I went and I did some research, I found you, and now here we are. So welcome to the show, and I can't wait to go. Let's just start with you and your background. I know that you have a military aeronautical background. Tell us about that, how you started off with that, and your career there.
Well, I think as a child, I've always loved things that flew. Airplanes, paper airplanes, balsa wood airplanes, things like that. As I got older, around age 17, I wanted to work on the F-4 Phantom in the Air Force, and right out of high school, I enlisted at 17 years old to become an jet aircraft mechanic in the Air Force, and I ended up not working on the F-4, but I ended up being crew chief of the U-2, which was, I guess, even better.
Yeah.
It opened the doors for a lot in civilian life for me. So I was that for up until 1977 approximately. And then when I was discharged from the Air Force, because of my background with the U-2, Lockheed Skunk Works in Burbank immediately called me and offered me a job, and I ended up working. I already had a secret clearance, so I ended up working on the stealth fighter before anybody knew it existed. And I worked on the engineering and on the stealth fighter. Well, I went to let me tell everybody this, because I always recommend this. If you don't know what you're going to do in life and you're young, join the military or something like that, because the GI Bill paid for my college, and I can't even stress that enough, how much that has changed my life. So with that said, given the background and education I had, I was able to do engineering and on the stealth fighter. And then I wanted to, when that program started coming to an end, I applied for, because of my background in hydraulic systems, flight controls, things like that, I ended up becoming an engineer on the B-1 bomber program.
Wow.
And I worked on that for quite a while. And I worked on the rotary launch cruise missile system, the landing gear, hydraulics, flight controls, that kind of thing. I've always had a love of space, and I always will have a love of space. So an opening became available at Seal Beach, California, Rockwell International. And Rockwell was on contract to design GPS, the Global Positioning Satellite Systems. So I ended up getting a job on GPS and worked that. And then because I already had a secret clearance, they transferred me over to President Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, Star Wars program.
Wow.
So I ended up working on classified satellite systems for that program.
Dr. Taylor, already there's just from Lockheed Skunk Works to Star Wars to all this stuff. There are probably so many people wondering what what you've been privy to. I mean, the places you have been, the organizations you've worked with, they are a haven that have spurned so many conspiracy theories, and
right.
That's already. I'm sure a lot of people's spidey senses are tingling right now.
Well, of course I had to sign a document saying that I wouldn't talk about it or else I'd get prosecuted or whatever. But I can say this, having had that background in aerospace and in DOD, Department of Defense programs, this is what I've discovered, a lot of what you see out there that's advertised or people say we discovered this or this is going on or all these conspiracies, 90% of them are inaccurate. I mean, I remember when I was on the stealth fighter, they were posting pictures, even Revell I think had a model out about what the stealth fighter was supposed to look like, and it didn't look anything like that. So it's not that the government is putting out misinformation, because they don't do that, because that can backfire on you. But they don't confirm nor do they deny. But there's going to be a lot of creative, fairly intelligent people who can put together 2 and 2 and add up things to seem like they are verifiable. But a lot of times what I've discovered in my experience, most of the programs that I've worked on, nobody knew anything about them, and they still don't know anything about them. So that's the one thing I can say.
Well, I guess that would go into the old adage about compartmentalization and how everybody has a piece of the puzzle, but only a small handful has the entire puzzle assembled.
Right.
I read in your bio.
We call it a need to know.
A need to know basis, yes. Okay, well then this would be a great time for this next question then, because I read in your bio that you left your work on the International Space Station and all this. I don't know what you're doing now. If this is your 100%, what you're doing is you're still in paranormal and research, spiritual experiences, all that. You're obviously an author. You are well sought after in the media. But I explain this because I see that you left the ISS after a host of paranormal and spiritual experiences drove you to write the book that you're best known for, titled Soul Traveler, which I'll put on the screen. I would love to know a little bit more about those experiences that led to this next big transition in your life.
Well, I've had my scientific background career going on one side of my life, and on the other side of my life, since I was a child, I've been having a paranormal situation going on that I really didn't know much about. My earliest memories of having something strange happen to me was as early as 5 years old. And that would be where I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would feel paralyzed, like I couldn't move. I could see and I could hear, but I wasn't able to move my body. And sometimes I would hear something call my name or see images moving around the room. And my family is from the South, so they had a lot of superstitions regarding those type of things that would happen, because I wasn't the only person in my